Welcome back to NATOR'S week picks. Week 3, week 2 in the books. Yours truly went 9-7. Here are some of the games I got wrong. I had the Lions over Seahawks. Seahawks got them. I had the Packers over Falcons. Falcons got them. I had Raiders over Bills. Bills destroyed them. I had Chargers over Titans. Titans won. I also had the Commanders losing to the Broncos. The Commanders won. The Dolphins beat the Pats. I had the Pats winning. And the Browns lost to the Steelers on Monday Night Football, and I had the Browns winning. So for my first 2 weeks total, I am 19-13. 19 games right, 13 games wrong. So week 2 in the books. Some close score games, but if we don't get them right, and then there ain't no point. It's all for nothing. So let's go ahead and get to it. Week 3 game picks.
Here comes the...
Yeah. Man, a lot of transactions around the league this week. So the first game of the week is the Giants and the Niners. The Giants, Saquon Barkley is listed as out. He got injured in the game against the Cardinals, which they came back and won. They're playing on the road at San Francisco. Top-notch defense, flow all over the field. Christian McCaffrey has ran for 100 yards in his first 2 games of the season. They're definitely the team to beat. The Giants are going to throw haymakers and come out with a game plan, but I don't see it enough to hold off the Niners for the entirety of the game. The Niners are at home. The Niners have played mistake-free, and the defense is really just like elite, in all honesty. So it's going to take a lot for the Giants to even come close within striking range, but I think it'll be somewhat fairly competitive. I got the Niners beating the Giants 32-19. And moving on to the Falcons. Falcons at the Lions. For the Lions, Amon-Ra St. Brown and David Montgomery are both questionable. Now, that was yesterday, so they might still play in the game. The Falcons have a healthy squad. The Falcons also are the top defense. They're a top 5 defense in rushing. Top 5 defense in rushing. They've played very good in the first 2 games, which defense was their big concern, at least in all the last 3 years of off seasons. But they're looking to go 3-0. And I can't forget that game when Todd Gurley fell short of the goal line and the Lions came back and beat him in the 2-minute drill. But the Lions at home, they lost to the Seahawks last week. The Falcons are gonna very competitive. They're gonna challenge they're gonna challenge the Lions receivers. They're gonna challenge Jared Goff. They have actually been generating pressure. But for this game, the Lions need to stay ahead of the Packers. Try and stay ahead. Those 2 teams looking to go in the front of the NFC North. So I got the Lions winning at home by 5 points, 25-20. So the Falcons are undefeated, along with 2 other teams in the NFC South, which was expected to be one of the worst divisions. So far, has gotten off to a great start. And then 2 winless teams, Chargers and Vikings. Yikes, would hate to be either of these 2 teams. The Vikings recently just traded for Cam Akers. So Kevin O'Connell definitely looked at the sheet from last week playing the Eagles. Their featured back only had 8 carries versus Kirk Cousins' almost 50 pass attempts. Not a good winning formula. Well, we can understand why he has to pass so much when you play from behind. This time, they're at home. They play the Chargers. They've had an inconsistent start to the season. Really seemed to struggle to play with a lead. So it could be a toss-up here. Justin Jefferson will be matched up with J.C. Jackson. I say that, but that don't mean that J.C. Jackson's going to be on Justin Jefferson the whole game. So Jefferson might come get 157 yards receiving this game, but only 27 of it might come on J.C. Jackson when he's guarding him. But in all fairness, should be a good game between 2 teams that are not bad on paper, but they're both 0-2. Whoever loses this game is going to really be looking bad. And I don't think that's going to be the Vikings this week. No, I don't think it's going to be the Vikings. So I got the Vikings winning this one in a pretty close game, 30-26. That takes us on to the Saints at Packers. For the Packers, Aaron Jones is still questionable. Christian Watson, also questionable, has not played yet. The speedster wide receiver from North Dakota State, 6'4", 215. And the Saints have a good, elite secondary. Great front seven. Defense stifled the Panthers on Monday night this past week. They haven't had to ask too much from their offense, except not turn the ball over. But this time around against the Packers at Lambeau Field, these two teams always play each other pretty tight. And the Packers coming off of a surprising loss, they want to take control of the NFC North, and they know they need to win each game. And when they play their division rivals, they played Detroit in Week 4, so I think that's why I got the Lions beating the Falcons, because I got the Packers beating the Saints. So these are two matchups: NFC South versus NFC North, North versus South. So I think the Packers and the Lions will both go through and win their games. So next week it'll be a matchup between 2-1 teams, both in the NFC North. Texans at Jaguars. Jaguars at home. Texans on the road. Still haven't got their first win. Rookie coach DeMeco Ryans, which he's going to do a good job. But isn't this Houston has been a disoriented, a franchise in disarray since they let go of. I would say since J.J. Watt left the building and they made that horrible trade, trading away DeAndre Hopkins. But that's a story in and of itself. The Texans on the road against the Jaguars will fall short again. I got the Jaguars winning 30-17. Takes us to the Broncos at Dolphins. So this will be my upset alert of the week. Not really to consider an upset alert if you looked at this before week 1, before the season started. But the Broncos are 0-2, and Russell Wilson is the high paid quarterback that he is. It just hasn't been clicking. They've been in leads, they've been in games, but they just can't seem to finish these games. They had a chance against the Commanders last week, but it fell short. Failed a 2-point conversion after completing a Hail Mary to end regulation. The game ended them losing by 2. So this game, they have to win, simply. The Dolphins are 2-0. I feel like they're feeling good about themselves. They beat the Patriots on the road. This is the Dolphins' home opener, by the way, which is why I have it as an upset. Because, the Broncos do match up well. They have a good defense. They have not been getting as much pressure at the quarterback, so we'll see what happens in this game, because Tua Tagovailoa gets that ball out quick. Playmakers like Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill are fast, and they don't need a lot of time. When they get the ball in their hands, they have all the space to work with, and that's where the Broncos don't want to find themselves. They want to keep the Dolphins behind the sticks, and they can definitely do this. But I definitely don't see the Dolphins slowing down, even though the Broncos defense are going to make some good adjustments, I think. Jalen Waddle is questionable, so he may not play. But all in all, I think the Broncos are going to come out winning. They got to avoid 0-3. I think they do that from the wits and smarts of Sean Payton. And Russell Wilson's a veteran. He's a savvy veteran, so he's got to come out and shine in this game. He's going to outplay Tua Tagovailoa, which is a tall order, which is why it's an upset alert. The Broncos, the Dolphins are favored, but I got the Broncos winning on the road 34-33. That takes us forward now. Still in the 1 p.m. slot games here. We got the Titans at Browns. Both teams, one team lost last week, the other won. These are both teams in the AFC, very stingy defenses. For the Titans, they still have a kind of old offense. Like the Mike Vrabel keeps them competitive. So this it could be more low scoring than what I'm predicting. But the Browns at home, the Titans don't really. And unless they can run the ball and threaten and put pressure on the Browns and keep the ball from them, then I can see them doing well. The Browns signed Kareem Hunt. Nick Chubb went down with a torn ACL on Monday night, so who knows? Maybe they'll try to run the ball around Watson, but Watson needs to step up his game too. So both quarterbacks in this game, I would say, got something to prove. But whichever running game could be more complementary to the quarterback, I think that's the team that wins. And I got that being the Browns at home over the Titans, 23-17. Takes us on to the Bills at Commanders. Bills and Commanders the Commanders are 2-0 and the Bills are 1-1. The Bills are on the road, and for the Commanders, they have a great front seven. The Bills can air it out. They also have a great front seven. Which defense can actually stop the run in this game too? I think is going to be a key, and unlock and being in a good position to win the game in the fourth quarter here. So the Bills have the defense, the Commanders have the defense, but I do think the Bills are more experienced. Josh Allen didn't turn the ball over last week. He's going to try to keep that trend going against a good team on the road. They need this win. Bills over Commanders 28-24. All right, Colts at Ravens. This was Andrew Luck's first matchup in his playoff when he as a rookie, went and played the Ravens, and that Ravens team went to win the Super Bowl. Ray Lewis and Ed Reed, Terrell Suggs. Ravens at home, they're 2-0. They've played very good so far. Beat a division opponent. Against the Colts, Colts lost Anthony Richardson, so look for Gardner Minshew to start. They're gonna get him taking shots early in the game, roll him out, go down the field, but I don't think it will be enough to generate enough points and keep the Ravens unbalanced on defense. And the Ravens like technically wrote the book on running the ball, them and the Niners. But in the AFC, the Ravens are one of the hardest running football teams there is. So for that reason, I think the Ravens are gonna be in the lead most of the game and then have the ball at the end to close it out. Ravens at home over the Colts, 27-16. Now that goes to the Pats at Jets. The Patriots at the Jets. The Jets, Breece Hall is questionable. That's their running back. So it's going to be interesting to see if can be any, if the Jets can find any type of run game, which they couldn't find at all last week. Because, I mean, say what you want about Zach Wilson, but with a little more complimentary football by his running game, maybe he can generate something here. But again, this is a divisional matchup. Jets are home. The Pats are on the road. The Pats are 0-2. So I can see this being low scoring. Bill Belichick is going to have his special teams playing very tight today, be very disciplined. He's going to tell his defensive line to be patient against Wilson, because I mean, they're just essentially going to wait for him to make a mistake, and that's when they can seize the opportunity. But I got to be in close, despite the Patriots maybe getting a few takeaways. I got the Patriots winning at the Jets 17-14. Panthers at Seahawks. Seahawks coming off a win last week. I didn't have them winning, but they got a formula over Detroit, it seems. But against the Panthers are still struggling to find their sinkhole. They don't have a lot of dynamic playmakers on offense, especially in the passing game. The Seahawks have struggled against the pass, but I think this is a good test for them to come out and show what they can do. Put pressure on the quarterback. Seahawks defensively have struggled themselves, and the Panthers defense are actually very good. The Panthers defense are a top 5 defense against the pass, and that also comes to the opponents they play. But you can't sleep on that. They have Jeremy Chin, Dante Jackson, J.C. Horn. They have some good young players. But I do have the Seahawks coming out on top here at home, 23-15. And we get the Bears at the Chiefs. Bears are not looking good, 0-2. Chiefs had Kelsey back active last week, and Chris Jones, who signed the contract. Isaiah Pacheco is inactive, he's questionable, so there's a chance he'll be inactive for this game. The Chiefs, I think, are going to stick to a simple game plan, run the ball. It's running back by committee in Kansas City in Andy Reid's system. And the Bears, I mean, they're just going through a hard time right now. Like, quarterback, questions about their quarterback, receivers not giving effort, DJ Moore still not learning from stupid mistakes. Not that he got penalized for taking his helmet off, but I don't know, like jawing at somebody when you make one big catch and then haven't caught the ball again for a quarter and a half. It just doesn't look good. So the Bears are going to fall short at Arrowhead, 33-14. Not going to look good for the Bears following week 3. Definitely not on the day of week 3. So that brings us to another game, the Cowboys at the Cardinals. Micah, hunt down as much as you want. To me, it should be a defensive feast. The Cardinals defense are no slouches. Like, they may not have a lot of names on that defense. They have some inactives too. The Carlos Watkins, their interior D lineman, is out. High draft pick. He's inactive. So they're going to have to, they're going to try to stop the run of the Cowboys, because they've seen on film that Dallas is not going to pass the ball if there's no need to. So the Cardinals want to force the Cowboys to pass the ball. And the Cowboys just need to find mismatches for their receivers. I think Brandon Cooks is still questionable. Tyler Smith, Trevon Diggs, breaking news, just tore his ACL. But offensively, they're going to try to find mismatches on the Cardinals secondary, which gave up 31 unanswered points to the Giants coming out into the second half. So no reason why the Cowboys shouldn't try to exploit that. They are going to run the ball still, but if there's leeway, if they have a lead, then they're going to try to find some early mismatches to get their receivers get their playmakers in good position to make plays. So I got the Cowboys coming out here dominating as they should, and every Cowboys fan would like to see that, and that's exactly what I have a feeling we're going to see. So I got the Cowboys winning in the desert of Arizona, Glendale, Arizona, 38-6. Steelers at Raiders, the matchup between two historic franchises. Raiders are at home, Steelers on the road. This is a tricky game. The Raiders, Jacoby Myers had suffered that concussion from week 1. He didn't play last week. Devontae Adams could have had him out there, could have helped him out. Chandler Jones, interior lineman for the Raiders, still not at the facility, still not playing. So there's a lot of questions for the Raiders. Same with the Steelers. The Steelers arguably got lucky against the Browns. I'm not saying they're not a good team, but their defense took that win home. And if any Steelers fan in the nation can say one thing, is that they can lean on their defense. And in this instance, again, I can see that being the case. Wide receiver for the Steelers, Deontay Johnson, is on IR. So they're going to have to use their backfield, their tight ends, and, of course, George Pickens, who is, I would say, their best receiver. But their most experienced receiver is Deontay Johnson, and he's on IR. So Kenny Pickett is going to have to get into a rhythm here. But I don't see the Raiders coming out here on top. Like I said, they have question marks on their defense. They gave up over almost 200 yards rushing to the Buffalo Bills, who last year ranked among one of the lowest teams, worst rush offenses. So they're going to be tested early. The Steelers are going to try to run the ball at them. They're not necessarily the best at running the ball, but maybe if they do, they would set up their own quarterback in a better position. So I can see them coming out and do that. So I got a low-scoring affair here. Really, field position battle, two defenses, two good, savvy defenses. But I got the Steelers winning on the road. The Raiders fall to 1-2. Steelers go to 2-1, 20-18. Eagles at Bucks, doubleheader on Monday Night Football. Don't mind this. Two games on Monday night. Where's Chris Berman when you need him? He's going to go, you go into that game? No, whoop, back to the other game. They are an hour from starting each other. The first one is Eagles at Bucks. Buccaneers are riding high. Baker Mayfield is finding his weapons. Looking very good, by the way. But the Eagles are coming into town. They didn't look the best on defense last week against the Vikings, but they've had a lot of time to rest. I think James Bradbury is still questionable to return, but he has gotten more time to rest. Avonte Maddox, when they're nickel corners, I think is questionable. He might not play this game. So a lot of mismatch opportunities for the Buccaneers to take advantage of the Eagles secondary, which around the league noticed that they were kind of weak. But the Eagles still have one of the better running games in the league. Tampa have been stout defending the run, but they're going to have their biggest test against the Eagles O-line led by Lane Johnson and Jason Kelsey, which he came back for one more year, a one-year deal. And Roy Mailata, they have a very good running offensive line. And don't underestimate Jalen Hurts dropping back to pass. But I think this is going to be a fun game. I got the Eagles winning on the road. The Bucks, there's tons of chances for them to win. This would have been my upset alert if I had a feeling the Bucks were going to have a good one here. But at the end of the day, I do think the pass rush from the Eagles was going to make the difference here. It might get to Baker a few more times in the fourth quarter when they need to come up with some points, because I think the Eagles are going to run the ball fairly efficient on them. But fun game here. I expect to see some touchdowns through the air from both teams. But I got the Eagles winning over the Bucks 32-24. And for our final Monday night game, it's the Rams at Bengals, rematch of the Super Bowl from the 2021-22 season. And very different looking teams, obviously. I think Joe Burrow probably won't play because he needs to rest anyway. I'm not sure who the backup quarterback is for the Bengals, but either way, they need to try to establish a running game. The Rams are definitely going to try to run the ball on the Bengals. Kyron Williams, they just traded Cam Akers. They're feeling good. Sean McVay getting his stretch zone game, helping out the quarterback. Matthew Stafford's healthy. Puka Nacua, rookie, I got to mention him, so you got to key in on him. Don't forget you still have Tyler Higbee, and Cooper Kupp's going to come back from IR. Not this game, but soon. The Rams are actually a lot better than a lot of people thought, and I think they're going to improve to 2-1 because the Bengals, they don't know if they have a healthy quarterback to play, and their running game has not been very good in the first 2 weeks. That's their key, and the Bengals want to win this game at home. They're going to fight hard, and they're going to come out, Mike Hilton, and their defense is going to be hitting hard, I do believe. But it doesn't. It might not be enough if the Rams do a good job scheming the Bengals defense and getting after the quarterback in the backfield for the Bengals, because their offensive line has been struggling. So I got my final score prediction for this one. The Rams, the road team, beats the home team here 21-17. Wrapping up week 3 and another loaded week, another loaded content full of NFL games. The first bye weeks will start here, I think, week 5. I'm not sure if it's week 4 or week 5, but we will know by that time. And keep enjoying the games. There's a game coming up later today as I'm recording this out there in Santa Clara. So between the Niners and the Cowboys, in my opinion, it comes to the 2 best teams in NFC. And then you can't sleep on the Eagles either. So it's going to be exciting to see. I'm excited for another week of football. We're starting to get into the weeks where we see the team's identities. Week 3 to 6 is where we really get to see who really is who are the contenders and pretenders, and all the hoopla. So enjoy it. Comment the scores. Feel free to interact. All that good stuff. It's just one of the best sports there is to watch, talk about, and have respect for those guys. I'm not the type to go comment and say this player is bad, or he needs to play better, or we need to get rid of him. Look, these people have families at home. These players have families, people who care about them. They are people before they are football players. So keep that in mind. Keep good thoughts about everybody, even if they're the opponent. Good vibes, good positive feelings and thoughts to everybody. And if that other stuff comes up, just look away from it. Look away. It's there for a reason. It's there for temptation, just like a lot of things in this world is. But for week 3, NATOR'S picks are in the books, and I'll see you next week when we count up the picks. Enjoy.